So last week, WrestleMania happened, and once again, for the second year in a row, it was a 2-night event. And so me and TJ basically had been watching.
Hi TJ.
So TJ, how long would you say that you've been watching wrestling?
I've been watching wrestling since I was like 4 years old, dude.
You're 4 years old.
Like almost 25 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
So for me, I've been watching wrestling
I could cut in really quick and say that Roman Reigns is the Tom Brady of WWE.
So getting really close to my microphone.
Okay, so for me, I had my first look at wrestling in 2002, but I got into watching wrestling in 2004, just when the 2004 lottery draft happened, which was after a whole week after WrestleMania that time, which was WrestleMania 20. So night one's main event was Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship, as night two was a triple threat main event for the Universal Championship, which had Roman Reigns against the Royal Rumble winner Edge and Daniel Bryan.
So let me jump in there real quick. So talking about the whole WrestleMania kind of thing, what would you feel would have been the best match for people that haven't seen it? What for this particular one?
So are you saying out of all the WrestleManias that have happened?
No, just this one.
Okay, for this one, night one,
Seth Rollins and Cesaro.
Yes, I'm gonna have to say that. And as for was that even on night one?
It was on night one.
Okay, then on night two,
The main event.
Yeah, the main event.
That triple threat main event. I mean, both main events were fucking incredible. They were both really good. I mean, if I had to show one of those matches to a person who hasn't watched wrestling, I mean, as much as it kills me to fucking say this, I hate Roman Reigns and I always will, but that match that him, Edge, and Daniel Bryan put on was a fucking classic. It was a very good match, and Roman kind of carried it. I mean, Edge looked really good, and so did Daniel Bryan, dude. But Roman, going back to 2013 and on, Roman was never good on the mic. He wasn't the best wrestler, but holy shit, he got so much better over the years.
Yeah,
and that man can cut a promo now. He's a good wrestler.
I'm gonna throw a chair over your ass.
Do you feel though? Here, I have a question about that though, and I know this is what a lot of people that aren't into him feel. Do you still feel like that he is just Vince McMahon's pride possession?
Not
and that
so
they're
much
still
now.
overdoing and I love Roman Reigns. From what I watch, I like him, but I do understand where people are coming from. He's he's just the golden boy. You know what I mean?
Not so much now, though.
Okay.
I mean, to me, it seems like Vince is giving more opportunities to people. I mean, look, Drew McIntyre just held the title for a year.
we had that.
And I never would have saw that coming. That's for sure. And then I mean, but see,
it's like giving the people what they want around this time, but then again, it's not always going to be the same way.
Well, see, I feel like that's kind of it's not an actual it's a sport and whatnot. It does take physical it does take a physical way to actually wrestle in there and actually take the hits and whatnot, even if they are staged. But it's also a character development between whatever persona that they have, and it ought to be a marketing tactic to the audience. If you're putting this storyline together in a sense that let's just say Roman Reigns and somebody else are going head to head, hype about it for a good few months before the said WrestleMania happens, they need to make it look like there's some underdog winner and make it a classic
Which is
match.
of course how the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania is, because the start of the road to WrestleMania is the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and
That's my
another
favorite event of
thing,
the year.
and I love Royal Rumble too. I always watch those. Another thing that like you have to think about is that they have no choice but to start appealing to the audience more, which I think they were lacking within the last, I don't know, few years. And now that AEW is a competitor and it is a top competitor, and
It's a
AEW,
scary-
Let's talk about that for a minute.
it's a remnant. AEW is a remnants to how exactly WWE was when we were all fucking children. It was,
I mean, look
Mhm.
look
It
at
was
the
just very
Monday Night
graphic.
Wars back in the 2000s, dude.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, early,
Those were
late 90s.
high.
Mid
The
to late 90s.
WWF versus WCW. WCW beat them like 83 weeks in a row on Monday night, and then they added, or what? No, I forgot what ended it, but either
So
way,
basically,
we just had the Wednesday
yeah.
Night Wars with NXT and Dynamite. NXT just moved to Tuesday nights because they were getting their asses kicked in the ratings every single week.
And you gotta
Yeah,
think
about the final
so-
week for that was basically NXT taking the most views
killed
for
them
that
myself.
week, and that was basically the final week for it.
Their first AEW's first week that they didn't have NXT as competition, they got over 1 million viewers.
Well, you got to think of it this way as well. With these particular types of events, these are all pay-per-view. So they have to change their dates in order to secure the most amount of money financially for that whole franchise. Because if they don't, and they have someone else, they're just going to whittle away. So if you got this particular event that goes on Monday night pay-per-view, which is, let's say, is WWE, and then the following night is then AEW, they're both going to be able to rack in people.
This is the way I look at it. And this is the way every wrestling fan should look at it. We have options. There's so many different options now for us. You could watch WWE, you could watch AEW, you got
You watch a real
NWA,
sport?
you got... There's a real sport, sir.
well, and then
People's
also
lives and careers end in
you also
WWE
have-
and in wrestling.
you also have the ones within WWE, SmackDown and Raw. They're two.
Those are just
like-
brands.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but
WWE
isn't
is
like one
cheerleading.
kind
You know,
of like more eventful than the
Like
other?
cheerleading.
Or they do
Monday Night
different.
Raw.
Real?
think of it as
Yeah,
like
right.
think
Raw,
of it
I
as
was
like
always more the Raw guy as a kid.
think of it
Did
for
the
like
annoying-
MLB. Think of it as like the National League and the American League for baseball.
Yeah, basically like that. The annoying thing that I hate when it comes to like the split brand for that is like,
Don't you mean the
this.
NHL and the AHL?
what was it? It was 2012, I believe, that after Raw hit the 1000th episode,
Yeah, you look
it's-
at those snaps.
every episode to this day is 3 hours long. Yes, SmackDown is still 2 hours, but it's like it was all fun and games. It was like, oh great, 3 hours worth of it. Now that you look at it, it's more like promos and commercials than the actual wrestling
It's too
itself.
long. I think they need to bump it back down to 2 and it'll be fine.
If it goes
There's too
down
much
to
shit
2
going
again,
on.
I'll be happy with that. It's
Zero.
like,
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that factor into a 3 hour versus 2 hour thing, and that's anything TV related in general. The more time that you have set for yourself, especially for a sporting event, that's where people are going to start putting in their commercials. So Joseph's right. You're going to see a lot more commercials, but it can be spaced out a little bit better versus a 2 hour episode where everything's going to have to be super condensed. Now, it goes either way, because it's like, do you want to watch all of it and get majority of the ads out of the way in the middle, or do you want it to where it kind of spaces out? It just depends on how much you can retain as a viewer.
It's kind of spaced out. You know, that's what I've kind of noticed, especially
now,
like,
yeah, definitely with that.
No.